So this video is a video response actually to top 5 ways to stop balding naturally and help stop hair loss. From YouTube user OK Raw. He had a special guest on from the 2014 Woodstock Fruit Festival. And, I think there was a lot of positive things said in the video, but I think there was a lot of things said that were sort of misleading, and I think that a lot of the things that were said weren't really explained thoroughly, and it was kind of like, do this, and you'll get this type of thing, and it really seemed intended, at least the way that I perceived it, is to be more like a convert you into, the raw, low-fat, fruitarian lifestyle, the vegan lifestyle. That's kind of what I, felt from this video. And, OK Raw, Life Regenerator, Durian Riders, and a lot of these, folks are huge raw vegan proponents, okay? And they got a large following. And a lot of the stuff they say is really good and positive. Like, eat more fruits and vegetables, And that's really, really good. And I'm really happy that there's people out there that are actually telling people to eat healthy whole foods. That's fantastic. And we need more people like that. But, part of helping people too is giving them principles in order to live by. So what I mean by that is, see, diets are really for, in my opinion, a learning experience or for short-term healing. They're really great at helping people detox and, perhaps healing their body, especially the more really extreme diets like fruitarianism, But for a lot of folks, doing something like that for a very long time could possibly be detrimental to their health. And I'm just being completely honest here. This is a known fact, and a lot of adherents to fruitarianism or raw veganism have ran into a lot of health problems. And unfortunately, a lot of the proponents who try to convert others into this lifestyle oftentimes fail to mention these facts to other people. But in order to really help people, you have to really be completely honest with them and, show them all sides of the topic at hand or whatever you're trying to teach them. So I felt it was necessary for me to really make a video response to this particular video, only because who better to do that than, me? Because, as you know, or if you don't know already, I have a lot of videos on YouTube about hair and baldness. And I don't know if I have the most, but I have a lot. And I'm not claiming to be an expert or anything, but I am one of those individuals that like to, really challenge the status quo. I like to challenge a lot of the claims that people are making out there, and I like to give more perspective on the various topics that people are discussing or talking about in their videos. And I thought this would be an excellent opportunity to just share some of the things that I thought should be addressed in regards to this video. First of all, the guy who was talking claimed to be low-fat, fruitarian, and said that he's been eating this way for many, many years. And he says that when he was about 25 years old, he was eating a high protein, high fat, animal based diet, and the hair follicles on his head started to get clogged up with a lot of sebum and oil and stuff, which he claims was from eating the high fat, animal based diet. And he says that his hair started to thin and pretty much fall out. Then he said he switched his diet completely by eliminating and throwing out the animal products and then going low fat, vegan, mostly fruit, and claims that his hair stopped falling out. And it's been that way right up to this point now that he's living. So I don't completely dismiss his claims, but I will point out a couple things, and those would be this. Firstly, he didn't mention any before and after pictures or any type of evidence that he might have to actually prove or back up at least that claim that changing his diet did this. And second of all, even if he did actually have evidence showing this to be the case, it doesn't necessarily or logically follow then that somebody that's losing their hair and adopts what he did is going to have the same results. Because I understand, and hopefully you understand, that whoever's watching this, that there's many different factors of why people lose their hair, and for one person it could be a completely different set of factors than someone else. So really, it's an individual-based strategy that you have to implement in order to get the best results that you're looking for when it comes to dealing with hair loss. So a person may have to get some blood work taken. They might have to look at their family history. Do they have, is genetics involved here? Is their mother's father bald? Was he losing his hair? You really have to look at a lot of different factors. What's their testosterone levels, hormone levels, thyroid issues, nutritional deficiencies. These are all things that you have to think about. And, the other thing is that, if somebody actually adopts this particular diet and they're on it for a while, but they were losing their hair initially as a result of nutritional deficiencies, and then they go on this diet thinking that's going to help, fix their problem, it could possibly actually make it worse if they aren't getting all of the required nutrients from their diet. So there's just a lot of different things to think about, and it isn't as simple as saying to someone, yeah, go low-fat, raw vegan, fruitarian, and your hair problems will be a thing of the past. It isn't as simple as that, and a diet is not a cure-all. Now, I'm really happy that he talks about eating fruit, and vegetables and things, because those are beneficial for your hair, and they have a lot of antioxidants which help fight the aging process, and they've shown through epigenetics, which is the study of basically modifying your lifestyle so that you can basically turn on and off different genes. And this is usually done through your lifestyle, through what you eat. And if you eat really, really healthy, then you can basically kind of slow the aging process or slow the rate at which your genes are being expressed. So if you have the genes to go bald, okay, and you're eating a really anti-aging diet, you can really slow that process down and slow the rate at which those genetics are, clicking on being expressed and taking over, simply by eating a lot of antioxidants, phytonutrients, and things like that in fruit and vegetables, which could actually explain maybe the reasons or the mechanisms behind why this guy, still retaining some hair into his 70s. Now, I wouldn't say, he is remarkable by any means, only simply because there's many people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, or beyond that have more hair than he has and actually have full natural hair color. So, don't be misled in thinking that, low-fat, raw vegan, is the only way that this is achievable or possible, because it's not. And simple common sense would tell you this, because you can just observe around you, your friends, your family members, people that you know, that have been eating a diet a particular way for a very long time, and you can clearly see that they have a full, thick head of hair, and it goes against every thing that this guy was saying in the video. So clearly there's more to this than just diet alone, but a lot of people like to blame their diet, and they like to pick a reason like that to say, well, that's why I lost my hair. If only I had changed my diet when I was younger, I'd still have a full head of hair. It's kind of like how Dr. Mercola blames carbohydrates for the reason that he lost his hair, by saying that if only he had eliminated grains earlier, he still would have had a full head of hair. It's a lot more complicated than that, and being honest, you would have to basically say, well, it may be likely that I would still have some head of hair, but I don't know, because how can anybody know possible scenarios before they even happen? You can only go based upon the evidence that you have, and based upon your individual experience and whatever's going on that's causing this problem to take place. So I think at the very least, this video, I walked away feeling like it was a positive video, in the sense of encouraging people to eat more fruits, more vegetables, and this idea of adopting low fat. Low fat can be good if you're going from bad, unhealthy fats to, low fat, healthy fats. Okay? But I wouldn't say 10% is really a healthy fat intake for anybody. I think that, you really need good, adequate amounts of fat each and every day, because our brains are mostly made up of fat. Our skin needs fat to stay moisturized and lubricated. Fat is very critical in the human body, and a person can actually live really quite well on a high-fat diet. In fact, the Eskimos do. And they don't have heart disease. And a lot of reasons why they die young is simply because of their harsh environment. And the whole thing about their bones being bad. Look, they live in, Antarctica. There isn't really any fruits or vegetables there. So, of course, those have protective factors that will keep your bones healthy. It really isn't as simple as just telling somebody to eat low fat, go raw, be fruitarian, and all your problems will go away in regards to your hair, But I am thankful, at least I am encouraged that, these people are recommending eating, lots of fruit, lots of vegetables. And I was very impressed by the fact that he talked about massaging the head. That's very good. That increases the blood flow, and also doing headstands, will increase the blood flow and encourage hair growth too. And all of these things are really great for your hair. They're really great for your hair, but unfortunately, to be completely honest, they're not a cure-all for baldness. In fact, there is no cure for baldness. The best that you can do is slow that process down if you have the genes for this. You can do that with herbs, you can do that with lifestyle, modification, eating healthy, exercising, and addressing any deficiencies that you might have or toxicities. These are all going to give your body the best ability to really, fight this. And at the end of the day, there's really nothing to be ashamed about either if you lose your hair. Bald is beautiful, and you as a person are much more valuable than what somebody thinks of you if you lose your hair. Who cares what they think of you? God looks at your heart, not your outward body. And he's much more concerned with if you are a loving individual, So, there's another point that I'd like to mention, and that is in regards to coconut oil. He said that he doesn't recommend anybody use coconut oil internally. Well, coconut oil has caprylic and lauric acid. Lauric acid actually showing that it can help inhibit or basically reduce 5-alpha reductase, which is the enzyme responsible for converting your healthy testosterone into dihydrotestosterone, which has been shown to enlarge your prostate and actually shrink hair follicles to those who are sensitive to DHT. So taking saw palmetto, nettle root extract, wild oats, and the lauric acid and coconut oil all help to actually reduce that, reduce the prostate enlargement. And these are all beneficial effects, and it's really great for your hormone levels and everything like that. So it is beneficial. Coconut oil is loaded with caprylic acid, which is an excellent candida killer. It helps poke holes in yeast. A lot of people have candida. It's a nasty overgrowth of yeast, and it can cause a whole long list of bad symptoms, which you don't want. Coconut oil really helps you to be able to fight that. Coconut oil is, again, rich in lauric acid, which is really good for your immune system. In fact, the only other place other than coconut oil that I'm aware of that has it is breast milk, which actually is good evidence that it is very beneficial for your immune system, because that's your first food pretty much starting out as a baby. So yeah, coconut oil is fantastic. He mentions that he massages it into his hair. I would only speculate as to the reason why you might be doing that is because on a very low-fat diet, your hair may become more dry and brittle. So the coconut oil kind of acts like a moisturizer. He recommended not to use any shampoos and conditioners, and you know what? That's really good advice. But I take it a step further and say, don't avoid all shampoo and conditioners, at least the ones that are really healthy, organic, without all of the chemicals. It is good advice to tell someone to avoid the chemical shampoos and conditioners, because they are detrimental to not only your hair, but also to your whole body. And there are a lot of fabulous brands out there that use natural and safe ingredients. And this will help keep your hair clean, and it will really just give your hair and your scalp a healthier environment in which to grow the hair. So, there was a lot of things that he said. A lot of those things were positive, but a lot of them need a little bit more clarification. And I think, if somebody walks away from that video with the idea that, if they just become raw, vegan, fruitarian, low-fat, that it's going to cure their baldness or their hair fall, then unfortunately I think that the video was misleading. If somebody walks away from that video with the idea that eating more fruits and vegetables, doing head massages, headstands are beneficial for the hair, and then they implement those into their lifestyle, in their life, then that is a very good thing. And hopefully that video will have that type of effect on people. I noticed that in a lot of the comments underneath his video, most people didn't buy into a lot of the claims that the guy was making. And I'm actually encouraged by that, because it means that a lot of people are thinking on their own, and they're thinking for themselves. A lot of it, folks, is just people trying to convert you to their lifestyle, to their particular dietary dogma. And I would rather stress the importance of telling people healthy principles in order to achieve good health, such as eat natural whole foods. Just eat real food, whether that be from animal or whether that be from plant kingdom, with the least amount of processing possible. And I think that if somebody does that, then you will experience improvements in health and hopefully a full head of hair. Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.